wanted to do another quick live stream here. I'm not questioning public health policy, but I do want to point out some inconsistencies with it. So here's a restaurant that's created, its outdoor dining space, but it's interesting that it's enclosed. Because I thought the reason they allowed the outdoor dining is that the air is circulating around and you're not getting, exposure to the stagnant air with the virus and whatnot. And then the other interesting thing is, look at the close proximity here to garbage. People earlier when I walked by were eating right there. So I've just had a haircut. I've told everybody a number of times about my buddy who owns the haircut place and the problems that he's had. He's an immigrant from France, immigrated here legally 20-something years ago with his wife, and now he's a citizen. And he was telling me about some of the ongoing problems that they're having with his business. He's accumulating debt each month. He told me 75% of their clientele has just stopped coming in. Many of the people have told them that they've either lost their jobs or moved out of the city, or they're working remotely now and they used to take the train into the city to go to their jobs. So 75% of the business, and he told me today definitively that next year when the lease comes up, he's not going to renew it. He's going to sell his house, and then he doesn't know what he's doing after that. But I think there's a lot of people who are running small businesses, and there used to be a bunch of people working there. Now it was him, his wife, and I think one other person. So there used to be several, and I used to go in there and people would be getting their hair colored to one thing and stuff done to their feet somewhere else, and every single chair in there was filled. Not now. The other thing that he told me was that he's been getting hit up by the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene or something like that, where they come in there and they're inspecting, the barber, what is that stuff called, like Barbasol or Barbicide or whatever, that blue liquid with all the combs and everything floating in there. So he said that they come in and they check that, and his was 1 inch below what they said it was supposed to be. So he got a fine for $900. And then they sent him some kind of letter. He had to go to a hearing about the fine. So he had to go downtown, and it was, time away from the salon. The only people cutting hair in there now are him and his wife. And so time away, so they're losing money at the business, to have a hearing about how he's got to pay $900 for the Barbicide juice being 1 inch low. And they said, but if you pay it now without the hearing, you can pay $700. But at the hearing, if this, that, or the other thing happened, it could be more than $900. So they're basically shaking you down, forcing you to have to pay $700. And someone was in the comments on a video the other day saying that they've got some friend with a construction business that was getting shaken down in a similar way, that the guy had been in business for years and years and barely ever seeing these building inspectors. And that now, since the coronavirus started, that he's been getting fined basically weekly for things that they were never fined for in the past. And so, we hear the tax base of New York City is eroding, and all these different things that need to be funded are losing money, and the city needs money, and Blasio and Cuomo keep doing things to shut businesses down and drive people out of the city and the state. So I guess they need to shake down the remaining businesses to get some dough. And it's basically breaking people's wills. I don't even have to find a new place to get my hair cut. So that's a drag. I guess I have a year. But you know what? Even when I lived in LA, I came back to New York frequently. I still had the office in New York. I would go to this haircut place even when I was living in LA. I never got an LA haircut place. So this is going to be like find a new barber after 20-something years. Whatever, it's not the end of the world for me, but this guy's losing his business, and he's in a similar problem to what I was in when 21st Century 3D sort of failed, because I was in my 40s and real good at that highly specialized skill, but nobody, that industry had sort of collapsed. Nobody was hiring, and what was I going to do? You know, any other thing that I could do, like doing graphics and editing videos, most companies would just want to hire somebody who's like 20 to do that, or pay me the same thing they would want to pay somebody who's 20, and it's a big problem. It's not good. So the city continues to deteriorate. Oh yeah, he told me another story that I hadn't heard about. The guys cutting hair, they always know all the stories because people come in there and they're chatting for half an hour at a time or whatever. So he said that last week there was some big robbery at a Greek restaurant where basically they just like went up to the huge sidewalk cafe. This says no, it was not robbed. Burglary, September 12th. Let's see what this says. The National Herald. I've never heard of that. No, New York's Avra Estiatorio was not robbed. COVID-19 cutthroat. With New York City restaurants unable to have indoor dining yet because of COVID-19, the competition between them has turned downright ugly. New York Post reporting it was likely a rumor was spread to undermine the popular Greek restaurant. Oh, that's interesting. It could be a rumor. Hope that guy's still alive. Well, that's interesting. So perhaps it's a rumor that there was a robbery. But that's a stupid rumor for one restaurant to spread about another restaurant, because all it's going to do is make people not want to go to restaurants or leave their house. So I guess it's a, wow, I had no idea there was an IKEA there. When did that get there? Well, it's the world's smallest IKEA, but there's an IKEA in New York City if people want cheap furniture that doesn't last very long. So we're on 3rd Avenue now. Haven't really spent too much time up here. The other thing that this impromptu live stream presents the opportunity to do is I can walk by the UN and see what's going on over there, see if the flags are still up. I have a feeling they're going to be down, and they'll just have a different excuse every day as to why they're down. Either somebody died, or it's Saturday, whatever. Home Depot. I knew there was a Home Depot down on 23rd Street, but I didn't know they had this one. I didn't really spend too much time here on the Upper East Side. So let's take a look. I wonder at what point there will be more businesses vacant than active. I don't think we're quite there yet, but it's certainly getting close. This furniture store used to be down by my apartment. I guess they moved up here. Love sack. What is this? Moving truck. Space for rent. It's interesting how there's always like furniture shops kind of all in the same spot. Yeah, look, Roche Boubois. Why are they always like that? It's interesting. Let's take a walk east here on 57th Street. How's the fruit business? Guy's asleep. That's unusual that somebody would just fall asleep in front of their own business like that. There's got to be very little going on for the guy to be so bored that he just falls asleep. Now wait a minute. So is Roche Boubois going out of business? Says it's for rent. This place looks closed. No, maybe not. Doesn't look like there's a lot of activity there. Is this guy taking a piss? No. Oh, he's rolling a joint. Not too many of these furniture and design places look like they're experiencing a lot of activity. I did speak to somebody who's actually moving to another apartment within New York City. I guess there are certain places that are making deals, and if you've got money and a job, you can, maybe there's some advantage right now. Here's room 57 gallery. That looks closed. I mean, 57th Street, this is like premium. This is a major street. And I mean, for this many things to be Queen of England there. Seeing a few people scattered around here and there without the masks. Join the month of action for Hispanics, HispanicStar.org. I don't know anything about that. Bank of America has a team that's ready to help you. Yeah, so it seems like the outdoor restaurants have now gone to tents, which makes no sense to me because that's just making an indoor space outside where you're going to be like colder probably, and I don't know. But I mentioned earlier that the indoor thing at the restaurant wanted my information in order to contact trace me, which I was just not having. So I left that restaurant. Did not sit indoors. Yeah, almost all of them have the enclosed tents now. So I'm a bit confused by that. Another example of some contradiction. I mean, apparently that's part of the mandate. They're allowed to do that. I mean, this just causes me to wonder who is creating these mandates and what actual basis do they have in protecting anybody's health versus just being a nuisance. The cleaners over there, skyscraper cleaners, closed. Something there next to the nail salon, closed. Seafood, the boiler, closed. Prime retail space. But is it? Is it still prime retail space if no one is doing any retail shopping? It should say what it is. Derelict, abandoned retail space. It's not funny. Where's this kid's parents? But boy, where's your mommy and daddy? Wow. I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea to let your kid ride around on the street like that alone. I shouldn't have called him little boy, but he would call me old man, I guess, so we're even. Alibaba closed. Oh, sorry, coming soon, Alibaba. All right. Dry cleaning? Not anymore. The rotisserie chicken is still in business. I must admit, I do love rotisserie chicken when properly done. One of the best ways to cook a chicken. I wonder what little kids think about all this mask business. Enjoy a cigar. That place is still open. That wasn't a recommendation. I was reading the sign. I don't enjoy cigars, but people are free to have them. I mean, you know, those annoy other people when you smell a cigar burning. I think most people, other than those who smoke them, basically hate that. But you don't make cigars illegal, and certainly they could risk your health. This woman wants to save the Upper East Side. Why does she have a star in her logo? Judy Graham. I don't know anything about her. She's running for something. Retail space for lease. Save the Upper East Side. I mean, let that sink in for a second. People are running for office to save the Upper East Side of Manhattan because it basically burned out, derelict, not viable business zone where restaurants can't stay open, hair salons can't stay open. Here's a diner that's got a huge outdoor space not being utilized. I wonder why that is. Is it closed? Mimi's Diner? Louis Matia out of business. Wow, Irish Bar looking out of business. I'm surprised. I thought bars would do well. Multiple businesses across the street out of business. So, I mean, at what point do all the people who have lost their jobs, lost their health insurance, lost their income, maybe lost their homes, how many of these people are suffering anxiety, divorce, domestic violence, alcoholism, drug addiction, depression, all the things that go along with this type of massive loss? And what's the death count on that? This looks like the Smith based on the tile. Yeah, I think I've been here before. So this place is bustling. Yeah, that's the Smith.
So yeah, I'm all for it.
Well, these restaurants seem to be doing okay. You might as well get a food truck and roll it up to the park if people can only eat outside, though. Why do you need all the overhead of paying rent for a giant restaurant? All right, so let me just be conscious of where I am here because I want to head over to the UN. Wow, this place is not doing so well. Whoa. Apartments available. I don't know, are people moving in? This place is lucky enough to have some sort of nearly indoor tables there. But I mean, you know, we're talking about a 75% reduction for some businesses, probably more. Let's head down this way. Just go a little further east. I don't know that I've ever been on this particular street. French rotisserie. Boy, I bet you that's delicious. Yeah, like a French rotisserie chicken from a, is it a boulangerie or a patisserie? I can never remember which is a bakery and which is a diner. Maybe neither of those. But you know what I'm talking about. French roasted chicken always seems delicious. Here's a bicycle shop that it seems like you can go into, other than Habitat. Yeah, I mean, I really bought that bicycle primarily for emergency exfiltration purposes. Oh, people will notice that I've got the haircut. Yeah, emergency exfiltration purposes is the primary purpose. Wait a minute, isn't that a famous place, Il Postino restaurant? Looks very dark. I don't think I've ever been in there. Yeah, bought the bicycle in case I need to leave New York City, and there's no easy way to do that. So, okay, we're kind of at the northern end of the UN kind of neighborhood. There's all these different kind of international style buildings with embassies or whatever. Here's a place that says Asian Food Diner. Looks totally black. Ah, yes, store for rent. Call owner. So this place is out. Just a staggering number of businesses have collapsed. There is the UN. I mean, I can already see there's no flags flying there. Let me cross the street so we can walk right in front of it. Beekman Tower. I think I may have had a friend who lived in that building at one point. That's a pretty fancy thing right there. Dog in the baby carriage. Always funny. There's a lot of entertaining stuff to observe just walking around New York City. People with their dogs in baby carriages. People with their kids roaming the streets like wild dogs. It's something for everyone. And there's the Trump World Tower. We don't hear about that one too much. I know there's some kind of deal where Trump like maybe licenses his name to certain developments, and Then he owns some. I don't really know what the deal is. So, but this is what I mean. There's all these like Euro-style, international kind of businesses, like New York Executive Services. I guarantee nobody involved in that is from New York. Get onto the FDR Drive over there, I guess. Yeah, going north. Super quiet over here. Yeah, no flags. So who died this week? Whoa, how have I missed that before? Do you see that? Sculpture of a dude on a horse with a cross. What is that? And a dead, he's like standing on a dead something. What the hell are we looking at there? Huh. You got a kind of a bizarre sculpture garden here. So he's killing some sort of mythical beast. I mean, this is the UN grounds, I believe. It seems to be. Yeah. '2020 and beyond. Shaping our future together. I don't think so. It's them shaping the future for us. I do believe I object to the UN. I mean, it's all this nice imagery and, you know, be nice to sheep or whatever, but why don't they put up some of the news articles about the UN, like, raping people around the world that we've heard about, and the corruption, and what is up with all the flags being gone? That guy was lying to me last week. We're going to try to get some more answers here this time. So who are these guys playing basketball outside the UN? It just seem like neighborhood kids. Kind of a nice shot of a sinister building. I think the International Criminal Court is in there, and the international criminals are in there. They're actually everywhere. The United States mission to the United Nations building. It's a short mission, you just got to cross the street. And then they can have George Bush land on an aircraft carrier, mission accomplished. They have no flags except for their own. Why would that fly if they're trying to respect dead people? Put it at half-mast or don't put it at all. Perhaps this is symbolic of the UN prevailing over all other flags. What is that about? I don't know if people can see in this video, but there appear to be on each corner of the building tiny little cameras up there. Can you see that? Are they lights or what are those? looking at me. He's about to say something. Taking steps to protect ourselves and our neighbors. When we remove personal protective items, it's important to dispose of them properly. Well, at least that's the first time I've seen that. Most people are just dropping them on the street or whatever. That's probably a great business to be in, the rubber glove and paper mask business. I mean, this is a remarkably low flow of traffic right here. Oh, what's going on here? Some sort of UN protest. Let's see what they say. How you guys doing? Can I ask about the demonstration? What is the UN failing to do with Cuba?
We want Cuba to be free. We want to eliminate the dictatorship that for 16 years is being oppressing the Cuban people. We want freedom. We want the Cuban people to have the right to choose for themselves their way of living. Free Cuba.
And has the UN been doing anything to help with that?
No, the UN, nothing.
What do you guys think about the UN in general?
Well, they need to get together. We need a good president. We need a new president.
They turned too slow.
It's Trump that's doing it?
No, Trump not doing anything. Sorry.
No, what I say, Trump is
helping.
He's helping with sanction.
Yeah, political sanctions.
Political sanctions, and he's
We need more.
yeah, exactly.
It sounds to me like you guys are from Cuba.
Yeah,
Everybody here is from Cuba.
So I think a lot of people have no idea what's going on in Cuba.
In Cuba, no.
Tell me what it
Cuba
is.
is a dictatorship. Number one, do not travel to Cuba because you are supporting the dictatorship. There is more.
All the money is going to the government.
Look, free all political prisoners, freedom for Cuba, stop communists. Communists kill people. Communists is not a joke. We are having
They are spreading the communists to Venezuela, to Nicaragua, to every other country.
we have in Cuba already more than 130 people in prison, in jail for political reasons.
Just to think different.
Just to think different in the situation of that person, it's completely inhuman. There is
Unfair,
not
yeah.
unfair. There is not medical attention for them. No visitors. Nothing. They are.
You have to say, think, and act the way that they want you to do.
Or you go to jail.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys think? Did you guys hear that the women who created Black Lives Matter said that they're Marxists and that they support...
They're communists.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
That's horrible.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
That's wrong.
Are they trying...
They want to copy the system of Cuba.
The Black Lives Matter is
knowing
communist.
that system has
That's
killed
it. They've been training from the communist people. They not ready. That's it. If they have to be blamed if they not believe in the Black Matter life.
They don't
It's
actually
communist.
believe that Black Lives Matter. They just want to
That's
take
his
advantage of black
president.
people for
Exactly.
communism.
They use them.
It's
They
about
use them.
victimism. It's all about
Okay,
that.
in
What
my
happened with-
country, in Cuba, they killing black people every single day. Why they not going there and fighting for the black people?
Wow.
I wanted they show me if they really care the Black Lives Matter, why they're not going to Cuba and fight with the government. They killing right now 3 people yesterday, black people, no white, black people. So what is the damn fight there? Why they're not going there? I want to show to them. I want to show to them they killing black people every single day in my country. So if the Black Matter life they care, why they're not going there? I want to see.
Let me ask you
They
this.
can use my plane if they want for.
Have you guys...
In general,
Have
the
you
Cubans
guys...
are supporting Trump because of that. Biden is saying
Cuba,
that he will
Nicaragua,
open
Venezuela.
everything the way that Obama had with Cuba.
Have you guys heard
don't
of this
want that.
person, Joanne Chezemir? Do you know who that is? Asada
Yes, I
Shakur?
know the Boricua girl that was a spy from him.
She was a spy from the Cuban government for like, I don't know, 12 years or 20 years.
But the
I don't
women who
remember.
started Black Lives Matter, they say she's their hero. She killed a cop
Yeah,
and
she is the
fled
hero
to
for
Cuba.
the SDF. Oh, you say Chesimard is the uncle, the aunt of the rap guy. That
I think
killed-
that's a rumor. She's not
No, no.
actually Tupac Shakur. She's not
Yes,
related to him.
it's the uncle of Tupac Shakur.
I'll have to look into that, but I think she
The aunt,
adopted the
of
name.
Tupac Shakur, sure, the
Yeah, she
uncle,
she
like,
adopted the name Masada Shakur. Her real name is Joanne Chesimir. She was involved
yeah,
in
she
the
was the
murder of a New Jersey
the
right.
trooper in
yeah.
New Jersey, right? She's in Cuba for a long time, and when the
government
Barack
knows.
Hussein Obama was in there, he never asked him for her.
Right. She's a criminal.
She's a criminal, right?
has
She killed
to-
the police.
And the
She has
Cuban
to-
government gives her
Well,
They
you
have
know
to
what?
bring him to justice.
The three girls from Black Lives Matter, she make a party here in the church in Riverside Church.
Really?
From the new president of Cuba, from Maduro. If you want to check it, you can check it. You too, it's there.
Yeah, and
And
another
then
thing, we have to concentrate on the fact that we need to free Cuba. It's a
Cuba,
matter
yeah.
of freedom.
No, but it's
time.
if we win
We
here
need
the
to
battle.
free
And not just
Cuba.
Cuba.
Do you guys have a
Venezuela,
website?
Nicaragua
The
too.
whole
Not
country.
just Cuba. Venezuela, Nicaragua too.
Do you guys have a
Free Cuba!
Freedom for Cuba.
Free Cuba! 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 Free Cuba!
Is there a website? Do you guys have a website that people can go to learn more?
We got different
ones.
That guy, what is you?
Anybody have a website or an Instagram or anything?
Facebook, Romeo Cuba, find it.
Okay.
Facebook, Romeo Cuba.
DespiertaCuba.com.
Okay.
have
Espertacuba.com.
Cybercuba.com.
UNPACU. Paco. We have also Cuba Decide. Cuba Decide. Cuba Decide. We have Despierta.
.com?
Yes.
CubaDesign.com.
Despierta Cuba, Wake Up Cuba. We have CubaNet, CubaNet.
We have CyberCuba too.
We have Cyber Cuba.
Cubanos por el mundo.
Bueno, por el mundo también.
But most are the Spanish.
Well, good luck, everybody. Thank you for talking to me. Have a nice day. And you guys,
Make sure, please, to another country. Do not travel to Cuba. Only you want to die with the coronavirus, going to Cuba. Do not travel to Cuba. Do not travel
The
to
only
Cuba.
reason why we, the Cubans, left the island is not because we wanted. It's because they forced us to leave the island. That's the only reason.
If you think differently, you have to be in jail or to get out of Cuba.
okay. All right, and you know what, you guys, this video, you can look on YouTube. Jason Goodman is my name.
Jason
Look for me on YouTube and you get, it's not live right now.
Goodman.
Yeah,
Goodman.
it's not live right now. It'll be on there in about an hour, okay?
Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Remember, do not travel to Cuba, please. Do not travel to Cuba.
Freedom
Only
for
you want to
Cuba.
die.
Freedom.
Do not free Cuba.
Good luck, everybody.
Cuba.
Free the political prisoners.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Jason Goodman, right?
Yes.
Goodman, thank you.
Thank you. All right, there we go. Cuban activists here outside the UN, but the UN is not listening. They're just there in the giant building, kind of doing nothing. Let's see if there's a security guard. I don't even see the security guards out there today. I don't think they're going to tell me anything. Definitely no flags. Yeah, there's a guy in the glass. Let's ask him. Let's see what he says. It says closed. Hi. Sorry? How come all the flags are down? What? I can't hear a word you're saying.
Turn the camera on.
Why? I don't want to turn the camera off. Why are the flags down? Yeah, you guys are invaders in New York. You should get the hell out of here and not tell me what to do. Turn the camera off. What authority do you have? Jackasses. Tell me what. Defund the UN. This is ridiculous. Get this damn thing out of here. Turn the camera off. No. No, I will not turn the camera off. It's the screw you in. That's their attitude. Screw you, helping us together. That is all nonsense. Giant den of political corruption. I'd be curious to know one good thing the UN has ever done for anybody. Maybe there is. Somebody can name that in the comments or whatever. So yeah, you know what? I should have tried to make this live, but the way I have it set up now, I program it from the laptop and then it goes live. So if I do one and end it, starting another one creates a lot of problems. So I'll record it and then I'll put it out live when I get home. But that would have been cool if we could have comments going while I was talking to the Cuban activists, and then they could have seen it live right there on YouTube while their demonstration was going on. That was a peaceful protest, right? They're standing there. I came up and asked them, what's the message? They want the message out. So I think they just presume if I'm making a video, people will see it. They have signs. They weren't burning anything, destroying anything. Nobody tried to beat me up, say anything stupid to me. That seemed like a peaceful protest to me. And I wonder, if they'll get the attention that they deserve. I hope they will. People can go to those different websites they're talking about. I really don't know very much about Cuba. So it's good to learn from people who do. That guy's giving some kind of Spider-Man tour. He had a book open with Amazing Fantasy, what is it, number 15 or Amazing Fantasy something is the first ever Spider-Man comic, and I heard him saying something about Spider-Man. The Cuba protest, make a left right down there. You can't miss him. There's a giant sculpture on this side of the street.
Okay, thank you.
I have no beef with Cuba. Actually, I had a very good friend who was Cuban, helped me design the 3D camera. He, after the original engineer had a nervous breakdown, his mom died, his sister died, he disappeared. I had this little sketch on a napkin of the circuit to link the two cameras. I was talking about this with David Hawkins yesterday. It pertains to Cameron Ortis and the hacking of Blackberries. This chip that the guy had designed, it was so difficult for me as an independent company to design this kind of circuit that once I had it, redesigning it was a very big deal. So got this other engineer involved who was a genius from Cuba. He told me a bunch of stuff about Cuba. Oh, no, sorry. No. He was Puerto Rican, but his family, he had grown up in Cuba. His father owned a big restaurant in Cuba, and somehow Castro took it, destroyed it, chased them out, and they went to Puerto Rico. That was the story there. But that guy's brilliant. He not only helped finish the chip to link the cameras, he designed the thing that made it uncompressed, and he was a brilliant engineer. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know that much about Cuba. Those people all seem to be from Cuba. They don't like it. Well, they don't like the government. More retail space for lease. Yeah, definitely these walking around New York tours are interesting. You run into interesting stuff. That's saying gourmet hot food is back. And they have a grand opening of the gourmet hot food bar. That was a huge business in New York, by the way, Up until 7 months ago, you used to be able to walk into any deli and take your lunch out of a tray where any number of filthy people could have been sneezing prior. And nobody was so fascinated by droplets of sickness prior to that. I think that guy might have been chewing tobacco and spitting on the sidewalk. That's also not so good for preventing disease. Hey, what is Partners in Care? Is that like Partners in Health? Visiting Nurse Service of New York. What is that? That reminds me of another story my haircut guy told me. He has another client who contacted him to tell him that she's not going there for haircuts anymore because she lost her job. She was a nurse. And she said she was stunned by this, never thought she would lose her job. And it definitely causes me to wonder if there's a huge pandemic and we need hospitals and nurses and whatever, why are they laying off nurses? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe they're just hiring people to shove Q-tips up your nose and poke your brain and decide that you have coronavirus so that they can increase the percentage in a particular neighborhood and lock it down. But then nobody's actually getting sick, or very few, so they don't need the nurses. They can fire them. That was strange and confusing to me that the nurse would lose her job. And she was a teaching nurse. People will know what that is. I guess that just means she's teaching the other nurses stuff, but I don't really know very much about the nursing industry. See, that's another good thing about Crowdsource the Truth. There will be a number of people who will put in comments and say, I'm a nurse, and a teaching nurse is XYZ, and either that is or isn't strange that she was fired because of this or that reason. So we learn a lot of stuff from Crowdsourcing the Truth. I'll reiterate this, like, a lot of people want to give me their opinions. Sometimes that's helpful. With opinion-based comments, I think people should use their discretion and basically play by the golden rule, which is if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. If you have a negative opinion, just because you think it's constructive doesn't mean it will be. I'm generally not interested in people's opinions. I appreciate kind compliments, but people who put in opinion statements, I don't mind if people disagree with me with facts. I don't mind if people tell me I've said or done something incorrect or wrong and correct it, but just like conflicting opinions, you don't like this or that, you're talking too much, you're talking too little, talk to this person, don't talk to that person, let this person talk. Those matters of opinion don't interest me. Yeah, New York sports, right? So this place owns tons and tons of health clubs, gyms, but nobody can go in there. So what's that company doing? I don't really particularly care about that company. I mean, I used to have a membership there. But whatever, people work there, people are losing their jobs there. Here's Doc's restaurant, closed, Oyster Bar. What are all those people doing? That was interesting that the Cuban activists, they're aware that Black Lives Matter is Marxist, and they say that's no good. It's a trick. I think more people are becoming aware of that. That's pretty interesting also that the guy presumed that I would know where the Cuban protest is, and it's a good thing that I did. Perhaps he will be a productive addition to the protest. And if anybody, I don't know, well, that's the other thing, is if I were live, those people would see that while the protest is going on. So now, see, it also seems that there's teams of delivery guys. This is like Grubhub or something, where these guys seem to be hanging out waiting for people to order stuff, and then they launch off. I don't really know how Grubhub works. This looks like an old fire station, perhaps. I don't really know how Grubhub works, but I guess those guys are waiting to deliver orders of food. So that's got to be a business that's improving due to coronavirus, because most people don't want to leave, just order stuff. How's business going? Oh, that's a patron, not a... I thought that was the door person. Oh boy, so here's space for rent. I don't remember what that was. A lot of stuff out of business over here. Another U-Haul. Where are we now? 3rd Avenue? Lexington. Arsenal Scaffold. Look at that strange logo. The other thing that's good about these walks is that I don't mean to interrupt Charles when we're walking around, but sometimes there's things going on that kind of demand attention. Chinese restaurant out of business, Mapo Tofu. I don't really like Chinese food, so, oh God, this pizza place is terrible. So I'm not surprised that it went out of business. That is instant heartburn for me. I don't know what they got going with the sauce, but that's somebody in the hospital one time years ago, and that Two Boots pizza was across the street, so I had it for lunch and just immediately felt terrible.
25. You know they expensive.
So this is an interesting tour of an area of the city I haven't been through before. Japanese Shojin cuisine. Yeah, so like this is like a little UN adjacent pocket that maybe there are Japanese diplomats hanging around, so they have a lot of like super authentic. These are kind of gems sometimes when you can find those places if you like Japanese food and stuff. $113 is the plastic surgery place. So we're sort of back to the route I took to get here, getting a bit closer to home. This place smells pretty good.
Of course, everywhere I couldn't see it, so like the two of them were like hitting me with what napkins.
We got a little DJ. That's cool. Keep people entertained while they dine outside. So people are saying that it was a hoax, that that restaurant got robbed. So it's like fake news versus hoax news versus, how do people know? It's really, I mean, when Alex Jones said there's a war on for your mind, that might have had more meaning to it than people realized at the time. So we're on Park Avenue now, and this stretch does have a lot of residential and a lot of hotels, and also doctor's offices. One thing that's pretty common around here is like an apartment building will have doctor's offices in the ground floor. I don't know, then maybe the doctor lives in the building. But that's a pretty New York thing. Trump's doctor's office was like that. It was the ground floor of some building. That was another one of the first videos I did. When Michael Moore, you know, the Roger and Me documentary filmmaker, not the cantankerous Philadelphia True Pundit editor, the movie guy, he did some kind of movie about like Trump land or something like that. And I went over to the premiere and was interviewing people in the line, and I met a guy who was talking about Trump's doctor. So then because he had heard on the news, I forget what the controversy was at the time, but I remember it was quite interesting. So I went and checked out what was going on with the doctor, and it's one of these things that seemed like fake news but wasn't, or seemed like real news but wasn't. I forget the details. People can go back and check that out. But then the funniest thing is, I saw that same guy elsewhere in the city, this guy who had told me the story, and I was in email communication with him for a little while. I think I sent him the video. I don't even remember that guy's name, but it was interesting, you know, the people that you run into. I think everybody thinks New York is this big, anonymous city where nobody knows each other and nobody ever sees each other again after, you know, the first encounter or whatever. But that was funny to run into that guy again. There are sometimes, you know, coincidences like that which occur. And then David Hawkins would say there are no coincidences. It's also better to go live because, you know, it's going to take time to upload this and do all that sort of stuff. So a lot of people have often wondered how I'm able to produce as many videos as I do. It's because the overwhelming majority of them are usually live. So they go out and then they're done. What is going to happen? Sophia George. Concrete graffiti. That seems like construction instructions or something. Not graffiti. Just got hit there. Another Verizon truck. Oh, well, maybe this construction company is doing something, digging tunnels for Verizon to put fiber optic cable in there. I see they've got PVC tubes. Seems like something you might put fiber optic cables in. Saw a thing on the internet yesterday, 10 gigabit internet. That's 10 times the speed of the current fiber optic that I got. That's crazy. That's faster than like a local network. Actually, the existing fiber optic internet that I have is faster than a lot of local networks. I don't think people really realize what the implications of that are. Like, people always say, oh, well, why do you need to go faster? What, are you going to download a movie faster? No, the idea is these dramatic increases in internet bandwidth, memory capacity, processing capacity, throughput, all that. Those kind of dramatic increases, they enable applications that average people, we can't even conceive of right now. Oh, is this closed, the Ginger Man? That's a famous bar. And this place here, Toledo, I've been meaning to walk by here. This Spanish restaurant has one of the most delicious dishes I've ever eaten in my entire life. Oh, it looks like the door is open. But that's not the main door. Are you guys open for indoor dining? Great, I'll come back another night. So this is a delicious place. It's a little bit expensive, to tell you the truth, but Toledo, the restaurant, has got this, I forget exactly what kind of fish it is, but it's cooked in a clay pot with tomato sauce. It's one of the best things I've ever eaten. So it's good to see that place still open. They have no space outside, so I'm surprised they've been able to stay open. Somebody really rich must own that place. Pret a Manger closed. That's surprising to see. Wow. So here we're, I think, what is this? Park? No. Madison? Maybe Fifth. I think it's Fifth Ave. So that's for rent. Offices, fine jewelry, all that closed. This girl riding a city bike on the sidewalk, very crowded sidewalk. This place is out. Yeah, Fifth, we're on Fifth. Well, that Cute Tunes place was in business pretty recently. I walked by and remember thinking it's strange. I might have even been on a live stream. That's just with, you know, they're selling like I Love New York Beanie Babies and stuff like that. Fine business, but no one's going to buy that if there's no tourists, and so therefore Fifth Avenue, the rent's got to be crazy. You got to sell a lot of Beanie Babies to keep that going, and I guess it wasn't working. Yeah, these are all like tourist shops over. Here's what I'm talking about. You know, they have all these, there they are. I Love New York Beanie Babies. Hang them from your Christmas tree or whatever, but I guess people won't be doing that this year. This is a famous place that has places all over the city. This location is temporarily closed. But at what point does temporary become permanent? Still WeWork right there. That's surprising. Don't try to snatch my Wi-Fi. Same building as Chase Bank. Oh yeah, Heartland Brewery went out of business. You know, that was a good place at one time, and actually that restaurant right there is where I met my second wife. But it went way downhill. And one of the most disgusting things that ever happened to me at a restaurant happened at that Heartland Brewery, so I'm not surprised it closed. I think they all closed now. There used to be 5 of them or something. Let's not wait for this light. NYPD up to something. I don't know if people realize the Empire State Building takes up the entire block. It's absolutely gigantic. I really do like the Empire State Building. If you ever, I should try to actually do a live stream from the observation deck. I wonder what the protocol is for getting up there nowadays. I'm sure you need a mask and all that business. But I bet there's not a line. There's usually a huge line and waiting area. Oh yeah, and so Amazon.com has a bookstore here now that seems very similar to Barnes & Noble, that sells all kinds of Amazon stuff. Why are they allowed to do that? I mean, they're so obviously a monopoly of so many different aspects of retail. It seems like unfair competition. But then again, William Barr, it took Donald Trump this long to realize that William Barr is doing nothing. That's not good. This is a special response group vehicle, by the way. So for some reason, there's very little NYPD around except for the SRG division. Here we see space for rent, 3rd floor available. So now we're at 34th Street. This is another major crosstown artery like 57th Street. Lots of big retail stores around here. This guy, yeah, that's totally safe. No way anybody's going to get accidentally hit by that idiot riding his bicycle on one wheel down the sidewalk. What do we got going here? Hopefully the cops will arrest these dudes. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So we got an ambulance trying to get through. And those jokers think it's a great idea to have a bike parade. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Aldo Shoes closing. 29 West 34th closed. Jackasses riding bicycles down the sidewalk and in front of an ambulance. Open for business. Here's where you have to stand and wait if you want to enjoy your shopping experience at Zara. The Levi's store down in Soho closed. But that was a little different than other Levi's stores. I remember I went in there one time and I was sort of shocked by how expensive the stuff was. Boy, that poor woman was an amputee. That's sad. Victoria's Secret looking pretty boarded up. That's interesting. Most other businesses have pretty much removed the boards. I wonder if they're closing this store. Amazon delivery. So at one point, this was like a food court in here with like little kind of annexes from restaurants and stuff where you could just walk through here and have like, you know, tacos and Mexican food and Japanese food and just all kinds of different, you know, little things. But I guess that's gone due to coronavirus. Sounds like somebody's playing live music over here. It's coming soon. Somebody is smoking weed at the Jesus rally. Yeah, like this. There used to be a ton of places like this. Oh yeah, so I guess this street is closed off to traffic because that over there is Little Seoul. All of the Korean restaurants are down there. A lot of fire vehicles doing something. People in New York kind of ignore sirens. It's not really smart. Those places continue to operate, magazine stands. It's funny, the magazine stand itself, it appears to be kind of like owned by the city, because I remember there was a time when they kind of like, you know, redid them all, and there are those metal and glass things now. They used to be much dumpier. Where's that kid's parents? Ah, also riding on the sidewalk irresponsibly. I just got a photograph of me looking right in his camera. It's another empty restaurant. commentary needed. Wow. Nobody in there. What is that an ad for? Alfa Romeo. Oh yeah, this is like the florist district or the plant district or whatever. You buy all your plant stuff around here. I wonder how this industry is doing. I mean, are people buying plants? How's business been? Oh, sorry, I didn't see the sign. All right, perhaps a stupid question. The guy looked mad. All right, question answered, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, there's no way all of these are going to be able to survive. Look around. I mean, these are all, Caribbean cuts. I guess that's a hair. No, it says fresh foliage and flowers. So they're all closed. Are these places out of business? I don't know. Tourists? Are you guys tourists visiting New York? Can I talk to you for a second? Where are you visiting from?
DC.
Washington, D.C.? What made you decide to want to come here?
Long weekend.
Yeah.
How's it been? Anything fun happening?
We just arrived like a couple hours ago.
You have an accent. Are you from
Iran.
Where are you from? Iran?
Yeah.
What do you think about what Trump said yesterday about Iran? Did you hear it?
No. What is that?
He told Rush Limbaugh that if Iran wants to fuck with us, we're going to do things that have never been done before.
I'm totally agree with him.
You agree with him?
He should do it.
So Iran, not good for Iranian people.
Well,
That's
the
why we're here.
government He's talking about it.
What do you think about the state of New York? Have you ever visited before? Like, look around. It's a
I was
mess.
here once.
When?
5 years ago.
What do you think now?
I have to check it out.
All right, well, have fun.
We just came today. So.
Have fun.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks for talking to me. So you get to talk to a lot of interesting people from Iran. They like it that Trump told Rush Limbaugh that. It's surprising to see people outside hotels. Like, why would you come visit New York right now? Biden-Harris supporters. Don't want to engage with them. Some of these plant places are still doing all right. I mean, I guess that's what'll happen, right? The business sectors will contract by 50 or 75%. Or I don't know. Will that happen? Maybe more. But I guess, hotels and restaurants and if a plant falls in the street and nobody records it, did it really happen? But I heard it, so it did. Wow. Oh, $20. It says that $320. It would be an expensive tree. It's a little bit like walking through the jungle. I like it. Well, I'm almost back to home base here. That's a crazy looking Lexus. Some people enjoy the car spotting, perhaps it's annoying for others. This is just like a walk around, checking out what's up. Yeah, see, that's what the newsstands used to look like. And then they made those new ones. Choose news wisely. Wake up, sheeple. InfoWars, Breitbart, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, YouTube. Interesting. I won't believe fake news. Is it saying that those are fake? YouTube is whatever people put on it. What's that say right there? CCP lies, people die. NCCP.com. That guy's a real libertarian. No mask, no leash on the dog. Total freedom for people and dogs. Whole Foods advertising that essential doesn't begin to express what you mean. Okay, so but what about the people who, wow, I've never seen that. What about the people whose businesses went out? It's a street psychic out in front of a busted out business. Yikes. Oh boy. I mean, you know, it sometimes feels like every day it's getting worse. I think that's going to be the end of this live stream. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please become a sponsor on subscribestar.com. They're really advertising NCCP. That's the first time I've ever seen those cars, but it's like a parade. Chinese Communist Party. TVR. Triumph. TRV, whatever that is, that little British sports car. Well, anyway, please become a sponsor. Subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth or patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. You're going to help keep the show going. People can sponsor the Counter Lawfare Fund. Crowdsourcethetruth.com. And I can't do these shows without your support and sponsorship. So thanks to all the people who make it possible. And thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.